So tell me about the rig behind you. How long have you been ready? What are you racing on, like iRacing or something like that? Or what are you doing?
Yeah, I do all iRacing. I've been doing it for about 2 years now. I started with a very basic Logitech setup, and was like, this is kind of cool. And then I bought like a small chair I could sit in, and I was like, this is way cooler now that I can sit in like a real chair. And I don't know what happened, but I was like, this is actually very fun. And I think it would be way more fun if I had like a real racing simulator. So if I slide over, like you can kind of see.
Yep, I can see. Yeah.
It's got like an 8 shifter. It's got like a really good, it's got a really good steering wheel on it. I have 3 65-inch TVs that surround you when you're sitting there, so you feel fully enclosed. I can't do VR; it makes me too nauseous.
Yeah.
But it's super, super fun. The feedback is very realistic. The more I did it, the more I fell in love with it. It's like racing is very like left brain scientific in a weird way. I think racers are actually way more nerdy than people give them credit for, because
absolutely, yeah,
it's not a typical,
very technical.
Very technical. It's all data driven. It's all about like your telemetry and your braking and your inputs around the throttle and your steering. And it's like you can just break down your whole experience into graphs and charts and data and compare your data to a professional's data and be like, oh, this is what I'm doing wrong. And it's all about do a few laps, look at your data, do a few laps, look at your data. And then once you think you're good enough, you jump into a race and you race against other people and you're trying to do the same thing, but now there's like a million moving parts at the same time. You're trying to hit your line and your apex and your exit, but there's cars in your way and there's people behind you and so there's so many moving parts. It's like brain overload, but hyper competitive. And I just get a huge adrenaline rush from it every time. Like the adrenaline rush is real. Like I get butterflies in my stomach at the start of a race, and I get rage when somebody crashes into me. I mean,
oh yeah. I haven't gotten into iRacing. I haven't like put together big PC rigs, but for years I've been playing games like GT and Forza and stuff like that. And I've gone only as far as small rig kind of setup with, a console and stuff. But because there's always that, my wife's like, you really going to do that?
Yeah,
I've thought about it, man.
It takes a lot of space. Like it takes a couple
years ago. I found some plans online, and I built out of thick MDF. I built an adjustable, rig that I mounted a chair to. I literally went to a
salvage
automotive salvage and got an old Audi S4. Leather seat and mounted it to it. That's cool.
That's what this is. This is like a real Sparco racing seat that goes in a car, and it just mounts right on this thing. It even has like an adjustable lever in the front where you can slide it up and back. And I'm not real mechanical. I'm a software guy, so just putting this rig together was like the extent of my mechanical skills, but it was very fun. And for a while, this starts to feel like your garage. Like I'm constantly just tinkering with things adjusting and trying to get the feet positioned right. And then the software updates and it breaks. And, there's so many things you can do to make the racing experience better as far as overlays, third-party programs, crew chiefs, and all this kind of stuff, that it's a never-ending rabbit hole of fun for me. And I kind of go in waves. Every now and then there's a race on a track that I love. And so I race it all week long. And then I'm like, okay, I need to take a break. So then I don't race for a couple of weeks or whatever. But it's different than most games. Like League of Legends, I can hop on and play and hop off, and it's like not a big deal. But with racing, you have to like learn the track, study the track, do some more practice laps. It's like a full like multi-hour commitment.
I do 100-lap races just so I could memorize the track. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
My a few years back for my birthday, which is in January, so I didn't really get to enjoy it for quite a while. My wife got me one of those experiences where you get to go on a track and you pick your car and stuff like that. So she set me up to drive a McLaren, and then the day it happened, the McLaren broke down, so I ended up driving a 458, and that was fine. I couldn't really complain.
Perfect. There's
it
no
was
problem.
Cool, but that was really neat. It was neat to kind of put that. They limit a little bit if you've done those before. What you can do.
I've done them. Yep.
But it was cool. It was definitely cool.
Yeah, I got so sucked into it where I thought I was getting pretty good at racing, and I had taken some online racing schools on my sim. And so then I went to like skip barber racing at Laguna Seca, and I did that for 3 days in a Mustang. And I, got kind of like close. Like basically after the 3 days, you can get like your racing license for very basic races.
Yeah.
And then I did the BMW driving experience in Sonoma, and I just got back from Alabama at Barber Motorsports, where I did the Porsche driving school for 2 days. And
Skip Barber used to have a Mazda one up here by me in Wisconsin at Elkhart Lake.
Okay.
And Skip's not there anymore. I'm not sure what the school is there now, but they had open wheel Mazda training things, and
I want to do open wheel so bad. That's like on my bucket list.
I got to drive one. I used to work for the Boy Scouts, and this is when I got out of college. I was an executive.
I'm an Eagle Scout, Brian. I'm an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, are you? Very good.
I am
awesome.
really. Yeah.
I am not. I don't get to brag about that, but got to meet a whole bunch of them. But we used to do events. We'd have like day camps and camporees out at Elkhart Lake at Road America. And so we got to know those folks really well.
That
and
track is
the head of their security.
That track.
So we had like a quasi car show. They'd give us this whole part where they used to bring in Jeep to do these big experiences and haul dirt in and, do climbs and stuff. And they'd give us this big field, and we got to bring in a bunch of cars from a bunch of different dealerships. And the head of security gave me one of their Skip Barber open wheel cars to display.
So awesome.
And I'm like, well, how are we going to get it out there? Because that's a 4-mile track, and it's where we were is way away from where the school was. He's like, well, just meet me over at the school. I'll have you hop in and just drive it over there. I'm like, it's a sequential shifter, and I'm like 26 at the time. I didn't know how to do anything with that. And he's like, let me show you real quick. So I got to drive. Oh, so cool. And when I got it in the field, I got to do a bunch of donuts in it and grass and stuff. It was fun.
That's awesome, man. That is a very lucky experience, because it's not often you get to get an open wheel car.
No, it was.
Skip Barber used to do a lot of open wheel classes, and there's still some, but most of their classes are now like Mustangs and stuff like that, like just regular Mustangs.
Yeah.
So.
But it's cool. Have you ever made it out to Road America?
That's one of my go-tos. So I race it on my sim a lot. Yeah. I know the track inside now. I can drive with my eyes closed, but it's like one of my favorite tracks to drive at my sim. Like, I love it. So I keep looking at all the GT America races that go there. And I'm like, okay, I got to mark it on my calendar and go. Like,
you should make it out. Like, let me know if you ever make it out here. I'll set you up.
Okay,
but it's
definitely.
It's a good time. My buddy lives a lot closer. Like, I live about 45 minutes from Road America. My buddy lives about 10 minutes, and him and his son are out there all the time. They like to go like the June sprints, and there's all kinds of events out there now.
Yeah, I just got back from the Long Beach Grand Prix. I went to that. I try to go to as many races as I can really get to. I was down in Laguna Seca for the IMSA race recently, just not a month ago or something like that. But what I like to do now, which is pretty cool, is hop on my sim. I can race Long Beach or whatever in the same cars that they're racing down there, and I'll just try to get a lap time. So then when I go to the race, I can be like, okay, I was doing like a 121 in the GT3s or whatever, and then I can kind of compare to what the pros are doing. It just makes it a little bit more interesting to like watch.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
When I got to drive Barber in Birmingham recently, I practiced on my sim for a full week. So when I showed up, I'm like, oh, I know every corner. Like, practicing on your sim before you get to the track is really cool, because you show up and you don't have to worry about, I got to learn the track for half a day. Like, you know the track, and now it's all about learning the car. And so anyway, I'm super in love with racing. It's kind of a late life passion that I've just gotten into. I actually just bought a track car. So it showed up like 3 days ago.
Oh, really? What'd you buy?
I got a GR86 that's been fully like retrofitted for tracking. So it's got the roll bar, it's got the slicks on it, it's got a supercharger. So there's a friend of mine in Scottsdale, his daughter she races in the GR86 Cup. And so that was her training car, and she's kind of advancing to another series. And so he's like, I'll give it to you for like 30 grand, even though I put 70 grand into it. I'm like, I'll take it.
That's a deal.
So
nice.
I went and I got it. It's in my garage, and I'm just kind of waiting to like get it all registered in California so I can take it to some tracks here.
Oh yeah. Well, get it on a trailer, bring it over to Wisconsin, and have some fun. I want to connect up, because the same person, Mary Lou Hain, who I used to deal with from their marketing department back in the day, she still works for Road America. I just keep forgetting to try to pick up the phone and call her. I really want to do something with them on the show, and maybe even do a show from out there. Because
that would be so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you called me and you were like, hey, I got us a day at Road America, bring your car, I would probably be there.
Yeah. Well, let me see what I can do.
That would be amazing.